Welcome back, students. Here we're going to discuss soil. Soil, it is chapter 10 from your textbook. Now, introduction to soil. Soil is the most important gift of nature to man. It is the most important gift of nature to man. Man can use soil for agriculture, for growing different types of crops, for building houses, and for different activities. Now, the old civilizations develops only in those areas which had fertile soil. The old civilization developed only in those areas which have fertile soils. It is due to rich soils of river valleys like the Indus and the Nile. Civilization like Indus Valley civilization, Nile Valley civilization, that these plain areas of river Nile and river Indus could attract human settlements and developed civilization in ancient time. Therefore, these areas are known as cradles of ancient human civilization. What's the definition of soil? It is a thin surface layer of the earth comprising mineral particles formed by the breaking down of rocks. What is soil? It is a thin surface layer. It is a thin surface layer of the earth which consists of mineral particles which are formed by the breaking down of rocks by different processes of weathering. Now, the process of soil formation, it begins with the breaking of rock into small pieces by various agents of weathering and erosion, what I told you earlier. The process of soil formation, it begins with the breaking of rock into smaller pieces by different agents of weathering and erosion. Now, what is soil profile? It is a vertical section of the soil, as you can see in the picture below. The picture it is shown below, it is a picture of a soil profile. It is a vertical section of the soil from the surface down to the bedrock. Yes, from the surface of the earth up to the bedrock, a vertical section showing the individual horizons of often of different colors and texture. Normally, the soil profile consists of four horizon layers, one above the other. Now, normally or generally, the soil has four sections or four profiles lying one above another. Now, what are the different soil profiles? There are A horizon, B horizon, C horizon, and D horizons. These are the different soil profiles. Number A horizon. This is the uppermost layer which contains organic matter and humus. A horizon is the uppermost layer which contains organic and humus. This is also known as the topsoil. This is also known as the topsoil, where we do different kind of agricultural practices, growing different types of crops, etc. The upper part of the horizon, that is horizon A, contain more humus, whereas its lower part contain more organic matter. Now, A horizon, it has two parts. Two parts. The upper section of that, it contains humus, and the down section or section which is in the below and the lower side, it contains organic matters. Humus and organic matters are carried down by the third party, that is water. Now, the humus and organic matters that are present in horizon A or A horizon, how they reach there? They are brought there by the third party, that is water. This is called a zone of elevation. This is called A horizon is called zone of elevation. Now, B horizon. B horizon, it lies just immediately after the A horizon. This is known as subsoil. It contains weathered rock, sand, silt, and clay. This is also known as elevation. This layer is also known as elevation. The upper and lower part of this zone are called transitional zone and colloids respectively. The upper and lower part of B horizon. Again, I'm telling the upper and lower part of B horizon are called transitional zone and colloids respective. C horizon is the third layer and consists of weathered parent rock material. C horizon, it consists of weathered parent rock materials. D horizon, it consists unweathered parent rock. Means in D horizon, you'll find the rocks in their original size and shape. You'll not find any broken rocks because weather doesn't take place in horizon D. This is also known as bedrock. D horizon, it is also known as bedrock. This is not a part of the soil profile, but provide base to the other three horizons. Now this D horizon is not regarded as the part of the soil profile. But what is its importance? Its importance is that it provide base. It provide base to the other three horizons of the soil. It provide base to the other three horizons of the soil. Next, properties of soil. Each soil has got its own physical and chemical properties. Now, there are different types of soil like alluvial soil, black soil, red soil, laterite soil, loamy soil. Okay. Now, every soil has got its own physical and chemical properties. Now, let us see on the basis of what the properties of soil are classified. Soil, it may be classified into physical property and chemical property. Soil, it has mainly two properties, that is physical properties and chemical properties. Now under physical properties, what comes? Color of the soil, texture of the soil, and structure of the soil. These three comes under the physical properties, whereas in chemical properties, it has been divided into two: acidic soil and neutral or alkaline soil. What chemical property has been divided into acidic soil and alkaline or neutral soil. Now, for this acidic soil means these soils have low lime content. Acidic soil, these soils have low lime content, whereas alkaline or neutral soil, these soils with high lime content, soils with high lime content are called alkaline soil. The soils which have more and more contents of lime are called alkaline soil. Now, physical property of soil, it includes color, texture, and structure. I've said you earlier. Now, color. Different soils have different colors, isn't it? Different soil have different colors. We can see it in our surroundings. The color, it's not important. The color in itself, it is unimportant, but it tells of how the soil has been formed, and what it is made of. Now, by the help of color, what can we understand? We can understand the nature of rock, how is it formed, what does it contains. Texture. Texture refer to the mixture of different soil particles grading from coarse into fine grades of gravel, sand, silt, and clay. Texture, it differentiates the different particles of soil. Soil may contain different particles like clay loam, silt, and sandy loam. Now, soils can be divided into following 5 types depending upon their texture. First of all, clay. It contains 45% of silt, 45% of clay, and 10% of sand. Whereas clay loam. type of soil. It contains 25% of clay, 42% of silt, and 33% of sand. Whereas loamy soil, it contains 18% of clay, 42% silt, and 40% of sand. Silt, it contains 13% clay, 82% silt, and 5% of sand. So these are the different structures of textures of soil. Structure. But structure of the soil refers to the way soil particles are arranged when broken up for cultivation. Now, structure of the soil means the grouping of soil grains. The grouping of soil grains in aggregate give rise to nut-like granular, crumbly, blocky, platy, plastic, or columnar structures. Now, when the soil particles are broken, this gives this type of structures, like granular, blocky, columnar, etc. Soil structures also influence its erodibility. Depending on the structure, the rate of erosion occurs, ease or difficulty in plowing, and the rate of moisture absorption. All these things, erodibility, difficulty in plowing, rate of moisture absorption, all these things depend on the structure of the soil. Chemical properties, there are two types of soil, as I said you earlier. On the basis of chemical property, acidic and neutral or alkaline. Acidic soil, they have low lime content, means the lime is lesser in acidic soil, whereas in alkaline soil, the lime content is very high. Now the factors of soil formation. Soil that is forming over our Earth's surface, it depends on few factors like bed rock or parent material, climate, living organism. It can be divided into vegetation, bacteria, animals, topography, time. So these are the few factors on which soil formation depends. Number one, bedrock or parent material. The soil forming material is weathering of this rock. The soil forming material or the materials from where the soil is forming, it is the weathering of rock. The underlying rocks containing minerals is called bedrock or parent material. The soil forming material is obtained by weathering of this rock. It is largely derived from sedimentary rocks. Now, soil forming materials, they are largely derived, or it can largely be found from the sedimentary rock. These rocks, why? Because these rocks are easily weathered. Sedimentary rocks can be easily weathered. Climate. Parent rock is more important for short period, but climate becomes more important during the longer duration. But parent material is important for shorter period, but climate becomes more important during longer duration. What does it mean? The climate of an area is a major factor for soil formation. Depending on the climate, the soil formation takes place. Parent material is important for short period, but climate becomes more important during longer duration of soil formation. Two different parent materials may develop the same soil in one type of climate. For example, sandstone and granite are two different rocks in Rajasthan, but they have given birth to the same type of sandy soil under arid climatic conditions. Understood what I mean to say? Means the two types of rock, this granite and sandstone. There are two varieties of rock. There are two varieties of parent rock found in Rajasthan, but the soil that is formed, the soil, the soil that is formed from both this rock, that is from sandstone and granite, they've given birth to the same type of soil, that is sandy soil. Similarly, same parent material may form different types of soil under different climatic conditions. So climate plays an important part in formation of soil. Living organisms, vegetation. It includes trees, shrubs, grasses, and mosses. The decay of leaves and roots of different forms of vegetation provide humus to soil, which increases its fertility. This provides life to new plants. It increases chemical action, and the rate of soil formation also increases. Humus also, quickens the weathering of minerals in the soil in the process of soil formation. Next, animals. Burrowing animals like ant, rodent, termites, and some birds move the surface soil downward and subsoil from its lower horizon upwards. Burrowing animals means the animals which dug hole in the grounds. The mixing of the mixing of two soil layers help in improving the texture and its aeration. Small organisms like earthworms live in millions in the soil and help in reducing its grain to small size and in mixing the minerals and the organic matter. The animals like earthworms are very important for the formation of soil. Topography, it refers to altitude, relief, and slope. Elements of topography such as altitude, relief, and slope affect the deposition and erosion of soil and the runoff of water. On steep slopes, the slopes which are very steep, there is lot of erosion by river, glacier, and wind. And only a thin layer of coarse soil is left. This is known as residual soil. This eroded material is deposited in areas of gentle slope and a thick layer of soil is formed. From a thin layer in the steep slope, it has formed to a thick layer in the gentle slope region. Such soils are very fertile because they are formed from different kind of rocks from over a wide catchment, means from a very big area. But in certain flat areas, the soils are poorly drained and suffer from leaching. Thus, the best soils are found in areas of gentle slope with good drainage. So, topography is also an important factor. Time. This is an important factor in the formation or development of soil. The process of soil formation is very slow. 1 to 2 centimeter thick stable soil cover may take thousands of years to form. The characteristics of soil undergo drastic changes within the passage of time. The characteristic of soil, it changes frequently with the passage of time. There are 3 stages of development of soil: young stage, mature stage, and old stage. So what I mean to say that there are 3 different stages of soil development, or there are three stages for the development of soil. They are young stage, mature stage, and old stage. The fresh river alluvium or glacial tills are soil of the young stage. The soil that are found from the river or the fresh alluvium, new alluvium, are the soil of young stage. Mature soils are developed over a long period of time. The influence of climate and organic matter is clearly visible on the mature soil. The impact of climate and organic matter you will clearly find in the mature soils. The importance of parent material is almost over and the soil attains its old stage. The importance of parent material is over and the soil has attained the old stage. Soil of old stage are found in the tropical lands. Soil of old stage are mostly found in the tropical lands and are 1 to 6 million years old. The old stage of soils, they are mainly found in the tropical areas, and the age of those soils are 1 to 6 million years old. Now, there are 2 factors of soil formation: active and passive factor. Out of the 5 factors that we have studied, that is bedrock or parent material, climate, vegetation, topography, and type. Out of these 5 factors, 2 factors are called active factors, where the remaining 3 factors are called passive factors. Now let us see which are active and which are passive factors. Active factors: climate and living organisms. Climate and living organisms. That is climate and living organisms. That is In living organism, what we have studied: vegetation, bacteria, animals. Okay, these two factors are called active factors. These two factors are called active factors. These two factors are responsible for breaking the parent material. Climate and living organism, these two factors are responsible for breaking the breaking the parent material and formation of some new organic and inorganic compounds takes place through these activities. So what are the active factors? The active factors are climate and living organism. Passive factors: parent material, topography, time. These three factors are called passive factors. They are themselves not responsible for any change but are just causes of change. Means these passive factors like topography, parent material, and time. Topography, parent material, and time, they are not directly responsible for any changes in the soil. They are not directly responsible for any changes in the soil, but they are the causes of change. But they are the causes of change, but they are the causes of different changes that are happening in the soils. Soil fertility and plant nutrition. Now, regarding soil fertility, most of the plant need at least 6 essential elements, at least 16 essential elements. That are among the 16 essential elements, we have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen, sulfur, calcium, iron, manganese, zinc, etc. So these are the 16 elements. There are the 16 elements which are very helpful for the growth of plants, or which helps in plant nutrition. Plant nutrition, it is the process of absorption and utilization of essential elements for the growth and reproduction. Now, why does plant needs nutrition? Plants need nutrition for their growth and reproduction, especially. Now, the difference between soil and rock. Soil is formed from rocks. You know that soil is formed from rocks. Rocks are formed from minerals, whereas rocks are formed from minerals. Soil is an organic material which contains humus. Soil, it is organic material. It contains humus. Rock may be both inorganic or organic. Rock, it may be both organic as well as inorganic. Soil is formed in the top layer of the surface of the earth. Soil, it is formed in the top layer of the surface of the earth where we are standing. Rock is found on the surface of the earth as well as interior of the earth. Rocks are found as well as over the surface or beneath the surface. Soil particles are generally fine particles. Rock particles can be fine as well as coarse. Soil particles can be fine as well as coarse. So this is the basic difference between soil and rock. Now, what are the soil forming processes? There are different processes for formation of soil. Generally, there are four formation: elevation, teluvation, variation, and leaching. First of all, let us see elevation. It is the mechanical translocation of clay. It is the mechanical translocation of clay or other fine particles down the profile. It is a mechanical process. Elevation, it is the accumulation of the washed down material in the lower horizon of the soil profile. Elevation, it is the accumulation of the washed down material in the lower horizon of the soil profile. Teluvation, it is the downward movement of material similar to leaching, but under the influence of organic complex compounds. What is leaching? It is the removal and downward movement of material from a horizon in the solution. It is the removal or downward movement of material from a horizon in the solution. Next term, soil taxonomy or classification. Soil taxonomy and classification of soil is the grouping of soil on the basis of their morphology. What is soil taxonomy and classification? It is the grouping of soil on the basis of their morphology, that is texture and structure. Texture and structure, appearance, formation, and fertility. So on the basis of this, taxonomy and classification of soil is done. In traditional classification, the major division of soil are zonal, intrazonal, and azonal. And in traditional classification, the major division of the soil is divided into three groups. They are zonal soil, intrazonal soil, and azonal soil. This, first of all, zonal soil. This soil reflect climate and vegetation to a large degree, hence their name. They are formed on well-drained sites on non-extreme parent material. This soil reflects climate and vegetation to a large degree, hence their name. They are formed on well-drained sites or non-extreme parent material, like polar desert soils, podzol, brown earth, prairie soil, Charnozem, chestnut soils, brown and gray semi-arid soils, etc. This type of soil and laterite soil. So this type of soils falls under zonal category of soil. Intrazonal soil. These are well-developed soils formed when some local soils forming factor is dominant. Forming factor is dominant. Soil in this category means soil in intrazonal category belong to four main groups. Belongs to four main groups, namely saline, hydromorphic, calcareous, and organic. Each group consists of variety of soil types. Next is azonal soil. These are poorly developed profiles because some factors of soil formation. These are poorly developed soil because of the few factors of soil formation. Now, the soil types in azonal are lithosol, alluvial soil, and dry sand. Dry sands. What? Lithosols, alluvial soil, and dry sand. Dry sands fall in this category. Falls under the type of azonal soil. So this is all. This is a brief discussion about soil. I hope you'll get some ideas and go through your book, go through your textbook. You will get more idea regarding the soil. Thank you. Stay home and stay safe.